Dr. Jeff here. The thermostat housing on my 96 Ranger has got to go. It was leaking fluid which corroded the wires to my starter, but that's another video. I'm going to show you how I put on a new thermostat and housing. Just look at how bad this corrosion got. It's rusted really bad and flaky. I did this job at the same time as my water pump and timing belt, so I chose to get myself some better access. But if you're only doing the thermostat, it's not essential to remove all these components, and you can fast forward to 107. I removed the radiator already, and here I'm showing you that if you go through the grill, you get a lot more access. It's pretty easy to remove the grill as well, which is what I'm showing you here, just 6 screws. If you do this step, it's going to make the rest of your job a lot easier because you can reach through with great access instead of trying to squeeze in between from above and bending your back. There you have it. All right, with that great access, let's get rid of this thing. Get a 10mm socket and go to town. Boom. Consider replacing the upper radiator hose as well. I used brake clean and a plastic spatula, but I couldn't get the corrosion off for a smooth surface, so I used some fine sandpaper to finish the job. I chose to use thread sealant instead of Teflon tape. To prepare the product, you have to milk it in the tube first. You can see I painted my thermostat housing gray. I thought it looked cool and maybe would protect the metal a little bit. Now I'm just spreading the product around to try to get it in the grooves. It's really only the first few threads that will get in there. Slowly tighten the engine coolant temperature probe. I actually reused my old one after I cleaned it up. I'm using a 3/4 inch wrench, and be careful not to over torque it. Here you can see the sealant got a good layer around the base of the thermostat housing. Here's the thermostat and part numbers. The pointy part of the thermostat goes down into the housing, and the copper-colored round bit sticks out towards you. You need to place it in the thermostat housing and then slowly rotate it clockwise into place. You'll be able to feel when it has gone all the way, as you'll have some resistance. I noticed that when I put it all the way in, these metal prongs seem to stand slightly above the lip. So let's get the gasket ready. My old Chilton's guide said to put the gasket on the engine first, but if I was to do this again, I would actually do it differently. Here's the part numbers for the gasket. This is some high-tack gasket sealant, which is not RTV, and I'm going to paint the gasket on both sides. And I didn't show getting the other side, but I did do it. This is a little trick I wanted to show with you. I used a wood dowel which fit in the screw hole or bolt hole in the engine, which helped me to place the gasket on there without sliding it all around. Now, I'm putting the gasket on the engine first, which was what the Chilton's guide told me. But if I was to do this again, I would put the gasket right on the thermostat housing, and then I would take one of the wood dowels on the left and put it through the metal of the thermostat housing and the gasket and feed it up to the engine to get it to sit there. Then it could hold it in place, and I would just use the bolt on the right and start tightening that. And once I had the bolt on the right in place pretty snug, I would do the left. I think this might minimize it moving around. And I actually struggled a bit to try to get it to sit flat and right in place with the bolts in the holes without messing with the gasket, as I didn't want to move the gasket around by accident when I'm trying to get the bolts in place. So if I was to do it again, I would do it a little bit differently. But still it worked this way, and here I'm using a 10mm socket to just get the bolts started because it was hard to get my fingers in there. Once I got it started, I tried to snug it up on the other side. And you can see if I had the wood dowel, it would just hold it in place on one side, make it easier. And see, it's wobbling a little bit. Now I'm just tightening it down a little bit more thoroughly. This seemed to take a long time and was kind of frustrating, actually. All right, now I'm going to get ready to torque it down. The torque setting is 14 to 21 foot-pounds, And I ended up doing 18 foot-pounds, just kind of a little bit in the middle there. And you can hear the click.
Okay. It must just not have been in. There, that was 18.
Okay. To finish the job, you'll need to reattach some of the rubber hoses. I used a little bit of this dielectric silicone grease, which won't damage the rubber, to facilitate getting the hose on. This is the heater hose here.
Oops, gotta put the clamp on first.
Yep, don't forget the clamp. Now slide it in place. And then it's just a matter of tightening it down. I'm also going to use a little bit of grease around the engine coolant temperature probe to help with the water seal. Now, electrical connections always dog me, getting them off and putting them back on. And this one I couldn't get a nice click on it. And I know you're saying, oh, it's the electrical grease, but actually I don't think that had anything to do with it. Regardless, I just pressed it a few times and eventually got it so it wouldn't slide off. But a little bit of a pain in the butt. Just make sure it's actually on there before you move on to the next step. And here I'm using a little bit of that same grease, and I decided to replace my upper radiator hose. You can see I put in a new radiator and did some other work, and that'll be in another video coming up. Basically, you just put this hose on and tighten up the hose clamps. And I'm not going to show you in this video, but you do obviously want to top off the coolant as well. That'll be part of my upcoming water pump video. So just cinch down these hose clamps and get everything snug. Other side too. Now take a look. Looks pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button so it's easier to find by others. I have some more videos coming up for work on my Ranger, including a timing belt video, and also a water pump and engine flush video.
Whoa, rad!
And if you don't have a Ford Ranger, I still need to do some work on my 2007 second generation Prius daily driver with the brakes and shocks and a droopy sunshade. And I also got to do some work on my Jeep, of course. So stick around. If you'd like to support the channel, you can leave a super thanks or just subscribe. This is Dr. Jeff DIY. I'll see you the next time something breaks.